Nothing but slow jams coming through the speakers right now. Pandora got you heated right now.
What's up, everybody? I am Slowjams4life, and this is Love and R&B. If you haven't watched Love and R&B yet, this is basically a show where I invite people on, family, friends, artists, and we just talk R&B. I'll let my guest introduce herself. So if you can tell us your name, where you're from, and your age, if you don't mind, and then we'll get into it after that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Saika and I'm 27. I'm from, well, the question of where I'm from always gets tricky. I was born in Japan, however, my dad was military, so we moved around a bit. But like I would say majority of my life was San Diego County.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But now in LA. So
Okay.
enjoying that.
So is that the answer you usually give when people ask you where you're from, or is it just like
It's like it's usually like I try to fill out the vibe of like where are you going with, you know? Like are you really trying to know just like recently, or are you trying to know, you know? But generally I kind of give the well, you know.
Okay, so she's from Cali.
Yeah, Cali girl for
Reclaiming
sure.
her, reclaiming her. All right, that's what's
Yeah.
up. Do you mind if I tell how we met?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so it's crazy how we met. I met her at a dentist office of all places. I was
Very
going in
random
there.
spot.
Yeah, I was going in there, and it's crazy because I thought she was somebody else. I don't know if you guys ever saw this show on BET, and I told you this story as well. But there's a show on BET called Baldwin Hills, and they have this girl on there. Her name is Saika. And so for some reason, yeah, she actually, I put up the picture because I remember you saying you didn't really know who she was.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought it was you. So I heard that the dentist was like, "Oh, Saika, can you get something?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, is that the girl? She's working at the front desk now." So I really thought it was you. And here's, I don't know, see this. This is a picture of her.
It's the glare. Okay, I kind of see it. Okay,
yeah, so I'm like, man, they resemble.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man. So I was like, "Hey, were you on TV?" He was like, yeah, kind of. But I was getting the vibe that you were like, you know how those famous people don't really want people to know,
right.
So they be trying to play it off. I thought you was trying to throw me off, and I'm just like, man, this is her. The name, you guys look similar. But anywho, you was like, nah, that's not me, and I was like, all right, I guess it's not her. And then you were like, my name is Saika, so it wasn't Psycho. And then long story less long, we started talking. I'm like, well, do you do music? Because I'm still in denial, right?
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, I do music. And I'm like, that's crazy. I gotta have an R&B page. You should follow me. Send me your music. And then you followed me. And then I checked out your music. And we've been cool ever since.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty dope that we connected again. And I think that was the only time I saw you, right? Because after that, you were like gone.
Yeah, that was literally it. I think I saw you a few times come into the office, maybe twice. But that was really it. And then I left, and so I'm in a new place now. So yes, I think that was it. So this is the first time in a long time. So it's nice to see you again, you know?
Yeah. And so when I went in there, so most people probably don't know this, but I went in there to get my veneers. So I think this is her first time seeing the
actually, I know. I was like, he's beaming over here.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty dope. So I wanted to share that story. It's interesting how you meet people, and I guess everything happens for a reason. Like I said, she was only in there like 2 times. I saw her twice, and she was gone. But it's cool we kept in contact. So I definitely wanted to get you on because some may not know this, but she's an artist as well, and she puts out music. She writes songs, and are you independent?
Yeah. So I'm independent right now. Hopefully we can get a little sign. You know what I mean? That's the goal. But yeah, I'm independent right now. Which again, thank you for checking out the music too. I appreciate that. Cause a lot of times people are like, yeah, check it out. And then, they don't. So I appreciate you, checking it out and posting it on the page. I was like, yes, much love. So I started making music like late 2011. I want to say like end of 2011, early 2012. And just been kind of doing it ever since. And I think I started taking it more seriously in 2016, and that's when I moved to LA. So that's when I was like, all right, like let's do this. Cause I was putting music out, but it that was like around the SoundCloud era. You know what I'm saying? It was funny because when I first started doing music, I had put 2 albums out, but they were like on iTunes. You know what I mean? Like this was before Apple Music. It was just iTunes. And then but nobody was really trying to buy albums at that time because people had made that switch to like, oh, we want to stream on SoundCloud and all that. So once I noticed that, that's when I kind of switched and was like, okay, let's get on the wave of SoundCloud. Let's put out mixtapes, you know? So that's when I started dropping like, I think I did like 4 or 5 mixtapes or something like that. It was just really like, just kind of practicing. Like, I was working on it. My dad was really involved with it too because my dad used to make music as well. He used to rap. I mean, he still raps, but yeah, he used to make music, so he was kind of helping me with that process and learning how to we were fresh to it. That was at the time when we were using like GarageBand and like, very basic stuff. And then after a couple years of doing that, and then when I moved to LA, that's when, we kind of graduated to like, started working with other producers and other engineers and like kind of taking the craft a bit more seriously and just kind of pushing it to like the next level. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
So I follow Saika on Instagram. What I admire about you is you go after it and you do everything pretty much yourself from what I see. Like
Yeah.
you doing your nails, you doing
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, you're making the video shoot days and stuff like that. And I see
Yeah.
you out there grinding. And I really admire that because a lot of times people are lazy, they procrastinate,
Mm.
but like I know like you're gonna get to wherever you want to get to because you
Mm.
have that drive. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Not everybody has that drive.
Yeah, I
So
really appreciate that. I've been basically doing everything solo up until about 2020 is when I finally got a manager. And so now he's been really great. Pat is really great to work with. Like, I still do a lot of the things of like, when we're shooting videos, I'm like formulating everything in my head, but he really helps in terms of like just kind of it's nice to have that support. So that's great. And then he kind of helped to build a team around me where, now there's certain people I work with in terms of like when I'm in the studio, there's a particular like B Sims is a writer that you'll probably hear me talk about all the time on my Instagram. He's somebody that I write with now, and he engineers like my sessions now. So it's nice to have a team of people that like you can kind of rock with and like build and grow with, because that's the thing that I've learned too about myself is like all the way from 2011 up until about 2020, I was doing everything completely myself, which again, I still do a lot myself, but I've learned that you can't grow if it's just you. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you can do, even if I was to continue to do everything myself, I'm not going to challenge. Like, I can't learn new things because I don't know what I don't know. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to say that working with other people has, I think, been a testament to a part of my growth and a part of why I am where I am now. Because again, there's other people that I'm working with too, that we all help each other shine in different ways, and now we're learning. We all have our own particular talents or strengths that we can help bring to each other, and I think that in these past few years I've been learning the importance of not just like a team or like making it seem like that, but I've been learning the importance of like really having other people around and the importance of people, especially because like I personally grew up an only child, so I was used to being alone, like but I've really begun to learn like again like the importance of people and like just what that really means and what it does. So definitely want to give them credit too.
all right, we are back. So to
Yeah.
summarize what you were saying having a team has definitely been a big help.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely agree with that because I'm going through that right now where I want to expand the brand, but I know I can't do everything myself. I'm the one doing all the posting now, but my vision is bigger than what I could physically do. So, but it's
Right.
hard when you want to reach out to people because this is, you're stuck.
Yeah. No,
Do
I
you
feel
get
it.
that? Do you get that same sentiment?
Yeah, I definitely feel that because I mean, I would say I have people that I work with in terms of like the creative. Hold on, let me back this up. In terms of in the studio, I should say very specifically, but that's only for like when we're recording. But as far as like anything that goes out, like I'm still doing everything. So I definitely feel you on that. It can be tricky, I think, trying to balance it all because I mean, I don't know about you, but I still do work like a regular, job during the day, which fortunately is work from home. So that's nice. It gives you a little flexibility, but you're still balancing work with like, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm posting on a regular, consistent basis and like creating content. Well, I actually am a content creator for work. So like, I do enjoy doing that, but it's also sometimes like, you can be fried from like doing it all day already, and then it's like, okay, but I got to do this for myself. What am I going to make? What can I show people that's a little bit different? And then also trying to post on a cadence. And luckily I would say it is helpful that like Instagram has added that feature where you can schedule your posts in advance.
Yeah.
So I will say that's been really helpful. There was a time where like I had was like, you know what, I'm gonna get on it, I'm gonna batch shoot everything, and then like I just scheduled everything for like a week in advance, so it looked like I was on it, even though I like forgot that I even posted anything. I'm like, oh, why do I have notifications? And I'm like, oh yeah, I scheduled a post.
We're gonna get into some questions now, R&B
Okay.
related questions. Just trying to tap
Okay.
in to see what your musical taste is like. When did you first fall in love with R&B?
I think that's a like a little bit of a tricky question, just because I mean, personally, I'm a 90s baby. So I just kind of always grew up with like R&B playing in the house. My dad was pretty diverse a little bit, so there's different kinds of music playing in the house. But there was like Tevin Campbell, Can We Talk? There was New Edition, and all that. So it's kind of like I don't really know that it ever was like a conscious like, oh, you know what, I really like this. It's like this is what I grew up with. This is what I know. It's like you're almost like indoctrinated into it. I don't think it was until like middle school that I really started to realize like people listen to different things, because I feel like when you're growing up, you assume that everybody's household is the same. So I think it wasn't until like middle school that I started to meet other people more, and like people start talking about stuff like that, like, oh, what do you listen to and things like that, that I started to realize like, oh, like, a lot of people listen to other different genres, and like, wow, like I can appreciate that like R&B is a section of music that like I grew up on, and this is something that like I like, and like you kind of can identify with it more. So I would say I've always loved R&B because like I said, I grew up on it. I don't think it was really until like middle school that I was aware, I should say, of it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because like my pops listened to R&B and rap growing
Mhm.
up. When you first bought your first CD, I guess that would be considered okay. I'm
Okay.
spending my money, so I
Mhm.
must love it. Do you remember the
Right.
first CD you bought?
It's funny because like, I kind of came around the time where like CDs were like they were still around, but they were kind of going out. Or at least I should say when I was younger, actually now that I think about it, you know what? I think my first CD that I chose to get was Chris Brown. It was either Chris Brown or Rihanna, but it was their first album.
Hmm.
I want to say it was between the two because they kind of came out around the same time. Yeah, but I want to say it was Chris Brown, his first album. Like, and that was that. Yeah, that was it. I remember like specifically getting that album, and like I literally listened to it on repeat all day. I was just sitting in the room, like I had one of those like shag rugs, those like I still remember it was a green carpet, and I was just literally laying on that carpet with my Sony boombox, like that white one that you see all the time. They don't sell them anymore, but yeah, it was this white Sony boombox, and I was playing that all the time. Before that, I might have bought Sierra.
Oh yeah, that her debut. That was a good one.
Yeah, actually, I think that came before.
Mhm.
I did also blast that, which I had no business singing at that age. Now that I think.
My first album was 112, Room 112, and I love
Mm-hmm.
that album still to this day. Do you love that first album that you got purchased? Do you love that album?
Yeah, I feel like, funny thing too, and this kind of goes into like the whole technology and like just how music as a system has changed. And what I mean by that is like, being that we're all digital now, I mean, everybody streams music. I will say that I don't really listen to albums like that anymore. Not as much as I used to. I think that when, for example, like I said, when I first got that Chris Brown album or like the Rihanna album, or Sierra, like you played the CD. You know what I'm saying? Like you listened to the whole thing, and you really like sunk into the story, like because a lot of times, the track listing has a reason for being in that order, and you really experience the album. Whereas I feel like nowadays, and I'm a victim of it too, so I'm not even like shaming anyone, but nowadays we're in so much of a single culture that, when songs come out, you kind of just know the song. Like you don't really like go find the album maybe, or like even if so, like you kind of skip through it unless there's like an album that's like the album, like SZA, when SZA's new album that came out, like that was fire. We all listened to that straight. You know what I'm saying? Like we did that. But for the most part, I will say that like that's something that I've noticed that's shifted. Like I think when CDs were out, I at least me, I was listening for the whole thing, and I don't necessarily do that anymore. Um, but yeah,
I
to
think
answer your question though, that album that I did buy, like, sorry, this was a whole loop around, long-winded answer, but I did love that album because at that time, because I was listening to it, those like the CDs that were coming out at that time that I was actually getting are like the only albums that like I can play it straight through and I know all the words.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Versus like nowadays, like you could play the album, I might be like turning up on track 1 and 3 and maybe 7, but then like in the middle, I'm like, I don't really know.
I always wonder because, like, I wonder if it's an emotional attachment or if the album was really, we just so happened to pick a
Mm.
good first album to enjoy.
I think
Because,
it's a bit of both, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I love that 112 album, but that Chris Brown album was really good. I think that's his best album to me.
Those were classics, like I think it's a bit of both, like you said. Like one part of it is they're really good albums, and two, because they're really good and you play them on repeat so much, it just has this like sense of nostalgia, like it's like an instant thrown back to when you were listening to it for the first time and experiencing it.
What I wanted to ask you, you kind of spoke about the track listing on the sequencing on the album. Being
Hmm.
that you're an artist, can you explain that, like that process? Like, how does that work? Because I'm always curious when I see the track list and I'm like, okay, why did they put this on first or just second?
Yeah,
Like, well, what is that? What is your thought process behind that?
it's a two-parter kind of that I want to answer that question. Is for one, you have to look at the project overall. What is the point or the emotion that you're trying to serve, first of all? Right? Is this an album that like is just like the fun turn up album that like you're just putting it out as like this is just fun music? Or is this something that like maybe you were really going through something at the time of you writing this project, and all of these lyrics and songs really hold something true to you? So those are two different journeys, I think, that would dictate how this album is going to go, right? However, something that kind of fits in line with this is, like I was saying, being it either like just that you're trying to curate an listening experience, or that this is you're trying to take someone on a journey that you were feeling lyric wise, or I think the two ways that you kind of sculpt the track listing is, a, you want to, it's like an emotional roller coaster, right? Like you kind of want to be aware of, it's also the same way that you curate an album is kind of like how you curate a set list, is kind of how I want to compare it, right? Like when you're going to perform for an audience, first of all, you take into account like what type of audience is this? What type of venue is this? Like, are we focusing on a particular type of sound or genre or a feeling or whatever that is? And then you kind of curate a set to like take the audience through an experience. It's like a movie. When you watch a movie, it's not just like, be it an action movie or a sad movie or whatever it is, they take you up and down, because you can't just ride on like, although we love Transformers and explosions, you can't sit through an hour of just explosions straight. I'm gonna get bored, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like you kind of need to take people like, oh, what's this opening like? What we're setting the tone. So usually that first song is just setting like the general, what is the feel for this album? What do you want to get out of this, and you kind of want to build and grow it, maybe like 2 3 songs of like you're building it so that as the person is listening, you're like, oh yes, it's getting better and better. Then you might want to take it down a notch and be real, have a moment of like connection of like, okay, this is a real substance piece, something of that nature, whatever it is. Maybe 1 or 2 of those, and then you want to start bringing them back again because you don't want them feeling depressed. You know what I mean? Then you want to bring them back up and ride through it, and you kind of want to create some ups and downs because you essentially want to take the listener on a journey. And like I said, that's kind of like the overall guidance of a track list. And then but there's different elements that you would take into consideration, be it, a, like the sound. Is it, are you just listening to it sonically, like is this a hype sounding song, and then going into mellow songs, or are you kind of trying to go through if maybe this album was something that you wrote when you're really going through it and like all these lyrics really mean something to you, then you might put it in like an emotional chronology of like maybe like if it's a R&B album and it's like a bunch of love songs and like the trials and tribulations of love, you might start with like the, oh, I really liked you and like this was great, and then you come to like, hold on, you did some stuff that like it's kind of a red flag, but I'll overlook it, blah blah blah, coming back up, and then you hit the pits of like, okay, we're hitting our arguments phase now. Like you want to take them through the emotional journey that you went through, but like through the songs. So it really just kind of depends, but essentially you want to create a journey that the listener can like, you're not just listening to songs, you're listening to like a sonic movie. Essentially it's like a soundtrack to a movie. Like what would that look like?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Thank you for sharing, because I always wonder, because back in the day I used to make mix CDs.
Okay.
And like I would have like OCD trying to figure out the order, and I'm like, the first song got to be the best one.
Yeah.
Because you can't start off on it. So I'll be trying to put the first one, the best one, then the second song got to be kind of good too, because like, man, he only got one good song. So yeah,
right.
So it's interesting to hear you tell that story.
But you got to end it on a real good one too, because you got to make them want to start the whole track over. You know what I'm saying? You got to put it on repeat.
Yeah, so usually the last song got to be kind of good too, because you don't want them to just cut the album off right before the last song. So at least that's what I be thinking. But
yeah, so, you creating some playlists.
yeah, for sure. If you had to make an R&B group consisting of 4 members, who's in that group?
It's tricky because you got to keep balance, I love Rihanna and Beyonce, don't get me wrong, I love them so much, but I feel like there's so much solo people, I can't throw them in a group. Like they're just so I'm not mentioning them in this, but I love them, so I'm gonna just put that out there. I love them too, but they're not in the group because they too much solo, like they on their own, I love them. As a group, I'd probably put like Kehlani and Janae. I feel like they have similar but kind of different energies, different aspects. But what's something that I want to put 4 women, but I want to change it up because I feel like we always see only male groups or women groups. I want to know what it would look like for a half and half. So I'm gonna do like Kehlani, Janae, and then I'm gonna do Tory Lanez and Chris Brown. I want to see what that duality would look like, because I don't feel like we've ever seen that.
Yeah,
like a male and female group. So I would be curious.
The only group I can remember that was kind of mixed was like City High.
Which one?
City High. They had the 2 guys and Claudette, and then Coffee Brown. It was just 2 of them, but yeah, for the most part, you're right. They don't really.
There's not really many, and then there's like Black Eyed Peas, but it's like one girl and like
yeah.
It's like I feel like that'd be interesting because like Kehlani and Chris Brown both dance. So if they was like going on, I don't know, that would be interesting, show wise.
Yeah, for sure. I actually went to a Kehlani concert. It was pretty good.
How was that?
It was pretty good. I just started going to concerts like this year because I'm more of an introvert. I'm just getting out of my shell, becoming extroverted. So I didn't really like to go to concerts. So I was sitting in the bleachers or the seats.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, nah, I need to be in the pit. So it was kind of a different experience because I was front row, but it was still like far back. So I was just like, it was cool. She put on a good show.
Like, when was this though? I want to know like what era of Kehlani was this? Like,
this was last year, September. The Blue Water Road. It was at the YouTube Theater.
I keep seeing videos on TikTok of her. I'm just like, Lord Jesus. Okay, we're not gonna get into it.
It was pretty good.
I would love to go to her show.
What's an R&B song or artist that someone put you onto that you're thankful for?
It's funny because I feel like I'm more of a person that like doesn't keep up with new. So at the time, I mean, all the people like blew up now, so they're super big. But I was somebody I knew had put me on to like Tory Lanez and Party Next Door, like before they were like really, really big. And so I think that was really interesting to me. And it was like The Weeknd, just because like that whole OVO sound. Again, this was like, they're like all huge now, but this was before they really blew up. And so like it was interesting to like be exposed to a sound that I wasn't used to hearing. I think that there's certain things that like we always hear on the radio. So like when I thought of R&B or like just singers and things like that, like I always have one type of sound in my mind, but like to expand my horizon of like, oh, this is interesting. What is this? And just also like the way that they write their lyrics is a lot different. That's why it's so cliche, because I always feel weird when I bring up artists like Drake or like Tory Lanez, Party Next Door, because they're all like well known. But if you really look at the lyrics and like pay attention, it's actually like really interesting like songwriting choices. So I feel like that's something I was able to appreciate, because I felt like they brought a level of like rawness or authenticness in their lyrics that in the past didn't really hear people say. Like I feel like a lot of people would beat around the bush or like trying to create analogies. And I know me personally, that's kind of how I write, is I tend to be like a very metaphor analogy type person to like talk around stuff, versus like they were straight just like, this is how I feel, these are my emotions, and they just like kind of blatantly say it, and like in ways of personal stuff that like people experience every day on a day-to-day basis, be it like through text messages or whatever, but like they would actually mention that in lyrics, which was interesting. So anyway, yeah, I think just that whole sound being introduced to it at that time, again before they blew up, was really interesting.
Yeah, it definitely was an era, because
Yeah.
I was DJing at the time. I was DJing at a strip club,
Okay.
so I would be on all the music, or the girls would tell me like, "Oh, have you heard of The Weeknd?" I'm like, "No, but I'll
Yeah.
download it for you."
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
so like a lot of the stuff like I was on before, so I know what you mean. It was like even when Bryson Tiller came out,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
was on him
Mhm.
before most people was on him. And
Yeah.
for some reason, I didn't think he was going to be big, because a lot of the times when I like these artists, for some reason, they just kind of like stay low key.
Yeah.
But yeah, he took off. Like he came out with Don't, and everybody was
Yeah.
on his. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that trap soul vibe, it's like
Mhm.
it's a vibe. But I think not everybody is into that. But like me, I listen to all type of
Yeah.
R&B, so I'm
Yeah.
able to listen to.
Yeah, and that's the thing too that I really like. And I know that that's been like a whole conversation. There's always the people that say like, "Oh, real R&B or true R&B." It still exists, but it's just not really on the radio as much. I think that we have a lot of like genre bending, but I'm not really against that.
Yeah.
I think that if I'm all here for it, like the mixing of stuff. But if you are someone that really wants to like listen to, I don't want to say like pure R&B, but like the real R&B, then like you can listen to that. Like that's there. But I don't think
Yeah.
there's anything with like knocking the combination of it with other stuff.
Yeah, I hate when people do that. They're like, "Oh, this new R&B is trash," and it's just like, if you notice, like each era is different. Like '80s don't sound like the '90s don't sound like the 2000s, and
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's like the sound has
Hmm.
changed, and I think people just can't accept the fact that it's not the '90s. It's just like the
Yeah.
'90s is gone. We'll get some of that, but for the most part, it's gone. And I think
Yeah.
I don't know. Those people sound like haters to me.
Hmm.
It's just like when you look at basketball, they do the same thing with sports. Like, oh, back in
Yeah.
the day, it was it was tougher. But like, okay, well, this is how it is now. So
Yeah.
judge it based on what it is. So.
Agreed. Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely try to do my part. Like I said on my page, I post all eras. Like I'm posting the new
Hmm.
'80s, and because that's what I listen to. But
Yeah.
I know how to adapt. Like I can listen to '80s, '90s, and the current R&B, and
Yeah.
I see a bunch of pages, but I don't think the other R&B pages could go in each lane like I can, humbly speaking,
Hmm.
or maybe
Slow
not humbly.
jams, where's that? So
Yeah, yeah. So, what's the hardest part about being an up and coming artist?
apart from like I was saying, like when you are doing a lot of stuff by yourself, like there's one part of it, but I think another thing that really took me by surprise more recently and I'm starting to learn is like it's expensive. Like honestly, like I think that's something that people don't talk about, is like something I've learned in like the past few years is you really have to invest in yourself. And I know people say that all the time, but like people don't talk about, it's like paying for ads, paying for advertising, marketing. Don't get me wrong. We do live in a age where people can go viral or people can do that, which is great. Like always aim for that. However, going back to like the old school versus new school thing, there's always been that conversation of like, it was a lot harder to make it a long time ago because you needed to get a record deal. You needed to get all this to be able to blow up and become somebody, which is true. And they like to say that, you know, nowadays it's really easy. Anybody can blow up because we have the internet. Yes, that's true. But also on the flip side of that, it's also really hard to blow up because, like you said, everybody has the internet. Everybody can post a video. So now you're flooded with millions upon millions of videos. So it's like, how do you stand out? I've become to realize, like, when you're doing music videos or studio time, or once the music video comes out, you can make the best music video in the world, but if you don't put it out there and put some marketing dollars behind it and pay for some YouTube ads, that video is not going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're already somebody that's great, but for the average person that's coming up, like, nobody talks about you need to pay for some Google ads, bruh. You need to pay for some marketing. You know what I mean? Like, marketing is really where it's at. Most of blowing up is marketing, you know, and that's why a lot of people try to look for labels to get signed. It's not really, people don't really care to get signed just to say you're signed. It's really because you need a bigger wallet to push you. You know, labels are essentially a bigger wallet that can pay to put you in certain places that on your own you probably can't do. So I think that that's something that I've really started learning and realizing from doing music so long, is it's not really about like what you're creating. It is a good portion of it. I'm not trying to like knock that, but you also really have to invest in yourself, like budget every month, like like, you know, you pay for Starbucks, you're paying for all this other random stuff. Like, instead of buying that Starbucks, how about you use that $5 or $10 and push your Instagram posts?
Yeah. Is to add to your point, I saw this video with the rapper Chameleonaire on Instagram, and he was talking about how he had the song. I don't know what song he was talking about, but basically it was a good song, but he still had to pay like to push the record out. And that's the only reason why it became big, because it was the marketing behind it, the payola at the record, the radio station. So that really is real.
T-Pain too, for Buy You a Drink, the song that blew him up. He said he did an interview, and I think he said he used like the last of his savings to really like push on it, and then the song blew up. But like, what if he didn't? Buy You a Drink, we know it was a great song, it blew up, but what if he didn't put that money into it? That song would just be a random song on the internet that nobody knows. Not because it wasn't a good song, but because you need to put money behind it. And I think that that's something that like people know but don't really like talk about, I feel, you know. So I think that that's something that like really, like, you really have to invest and like believe and put money behind yourself. Like, put your money where your mouth is. You could say you're a great artist all day, but how much do you believe that?
Yeah.
Put the money behind it.
Hopefully we get to a point where it's not so much about payola, but I mean, I don't know, but I try to do my part, like with my page. It brings me joy to post somebody who's like independent, or they're, you know, not known, because I know they need that help. And I do it just for the love. I don't post people like, oh, I'm looking for something in return. It's just like, this is my duty. Like, I love introducing people to new artists. And like, if somebody said like, man, I found Saika because you posted her, like, that's like the biggest compliment ever, you know. So we need more pages out there, or just people out there that's willing to help out these artists.
Yeah, and big kudos to you too for even providing a platform like that. That stuff really means a lot, you know, when people like every reshare, the repost, like, oh, that really does mean a lot. So like, even when you posted my song that one time, like, thank you, you know, that really does help.
Yeah, thank you. And you know, I try to go, like, I even try to like comment, because I know, like, I know how big engagement is, but I also know like how powerful these messages are. Because I don't know if you go through this, but sometimes I go through these moments where I used to want to be an actor back in the day. And I go through these moments where I'm like, man, I'm going to these auditions, not booking anything. And you get those moments where you're like, man, am I doing the right thing? Is this ever going to take off? And I have those down moments. I'm like, man, where I just not wanting to give up in real life, but getting close. And
I've been doing that. I've been almost through the towel so many times.
Yeah, so you get that message, or like a random message like, hey, keep going, or you get a sign. It always happens for me. So like, I'll try to like message people. Like, if I come across a new artist and I really like their music, I'll send them a message, not only on the comments, but DM, like, hey bro, like, I really like, I'm a fan, like, keep going. And like, stuff like that just really encourages them. And I think more people should do things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily like you're being fake. It's just like sometimes people need to hear like that they're on the right track, and you never know what that can do for somebody. So I encourage more people to go out of their way to write those messages, not only in
Mm-hmm.
the DM but on the live feed as well. I
Yeah.
think that us as people, we be into ourselves. We don't want to show love. So
Mm-hmm.
like if you ever see me in the comments, like I'm showing love, like, hey bro, I like that song. Like that, this is a
Yeah.
vibe. Hopefully more people could be that way.
No, I completely agree. And like that's the biggest thing too is like give love. Like you don't need to be prideful. Like,
It's
like
free.
we're all here. Yeah, and so yeah, I completely agree with you. Like I definitely try to do the same thing too because I know, being an artist myself, like I know how it is. So whenever I see fellow artists, even if it's not even a music artist, it could be like, maybe you started painting or you just anything that you're trying to do, like you clearly have put some effort into this. Or even if it's not even that you're putting it, just be your regular day, just throw some love in it. Like it's not hard. It
Yeah.
takes 2 seconds,
Yeah,
You never
it definitely,
know
it definitely could change, make somebody's day. So I encourage everybody to go do that. For someone listening to your music for the first time, like what's 3 songs that you would tell them to start off with?
Off rip, I would probably say Voove and Tidal Wave because those are my two like turn up fun songs. It's just easy to grab people. And I'd probably say this is a bit of an older song, but I'd probably say Trouble is a song that I have that came out a while ago. I want to say like 2-3 years ago, but I really like that song. I just feel like it's fun.
I'm gonna have to check those. I heard Tidal
Yeah.
Wave. I like that one.
Yeah, we just shot a video to that, by the way, and I'm currently editing it right now.
Did you?
Um,
I don't know why I thought a video was out already. No?
Probably because I've been posting. Well, the song's been out, so the
Oh, okay.
song has been out, but it came out like late last year. But then we wanted to shoot a video, but we missed like the summer, and
Okay.
that song definitely is like a summer. It needs to be beachy, needs to be, And I was like, we're not gonna shoot this when it's raining. So now that we hit that time, I was like, we got to crunch this out. So yeah, we just shot that video and I'm currently editing it right now, which side note, but I'm actually a video editor. So that definitely helps to cut on costs too.
Yeah,
so I don't got to pay for a video editor. I'm editing it right now and it's almost done. So
all right, though. You got to send it to me when it's done.
Yeah, I will.
All right. I'm a geek when it comes to songwriting. Like I love to hear like the backstory or of the songs and how the song was created. So I have a few songs written down here that you did.
Ooh,
and
okay.
I just want to ask you about them. If you can kind of give me like quick little backstory or what was going through your head at the time. And yeah. So actually the first song I have on there is Tidal Wave.
Okay. So it's funny because I mean the song is very like reggae pop fusion, and I actually had just gone to Jamaica, and we had like this personal tour guide that was taking us around and stuff, and my name's Saika, whatever, and like we're all joking around having a good time, and he just like randomly came up with this phrase like Saika rides the breaka, and he was like, oh, because it rhymes, like it just sounds fun. And like I guess a breaka is like slang for a gun in Jamaica, so it's like Saika rides, and I was like, yeah, but the way he was saying it was like cool, and I was like, yo, when I get back, I need to write a song with that. Like that is so fire. And yeah, sure enough, we came back and this producer that I was working with, Lights Out, it was me, Lights Out, and then B Sims. We all got in the studio and we are gonna try to record a song. And it was funny because actually wasn't trying to do that one. I was trying to record something else. But then we played the beat and it just was like the vibe. We were like, nah, like we're gonna write this one. Like this is the vibe we're on right now. And he queued it up, and we got a little bit of liquor. We're all drinking, just having a good, trying to get the creative juices flowing. And it just like I had a little bit of an idea of how I wanted the song to go. Like I had a little bit of the hook, and I like sang it to them, and we all just started like it just started flowing. Like it just honestly, that song just dropped so organically. It was such a fun time in the studio. And I think because, and like I told them that story of like the thing in Jamaica. So that's why when you hear the song, when it first opens up, that's why that's in the beginning where it's like Saika, 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 rise the breaka, Saika, Saika. So that actually came from the trip in Jamaica. And then we just basically wrote this whole song around it. And it was just a fun, good time. It was a really good time. That was just a fun session. There was a bunch of people there, and then like we queued it up and everyone's dancing, And in terms of like the actual songwriting process, because I know you said that you're interested in that part. So something that we do that. Actually, a lot of songwriters, it's kind of become like a standard, I guess, thing to do is like when you go into a session, you'll cue up the song and you go in the booth and you just do random runs. Like you're like I went in the booth and I was just singing gibberish. There's no real lyrics, but you're just like singing melodies and like cadences that you think would sound fire. And then afterwards we chop it up and pick the ones that sound good, place them where we like them. And now that we have the how the song goes, there's no words, but we know how the song goes and where certain cadences will change, then we start filling in the lyrics of what sounds good. And then actually if you want, I actually have I have made a BTS video of like that writing session. I'm gonna have to send it to you so you can see it.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
I think did you post it on Instagram?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if it's pinned. I think it's pinned to my page.
Yeah, I think I did see that.
Yeah, it was a fun.
Like
that one was a fun
yeah,
song.
but yeah, send it to me. Yeah, that's still that's actually one of the songs I like. But I also have this. Well, I'll give you one more, and this is probably my favorite song that I've heard so far. Which you probably, this is the one I posted on my page. Give me that real. Give me the real.
Yeah, give me the real. Okay, so you know it's funny because that batch of songs was like backwards. That was when I was working with a different producer at that time, and like he had a connection to Styles P, Jadakiss, and Cassidy. So we had made a trip. It was very last minute. We like all made a trip. My dad came with me. We went to New York and did those features, the 3, like all in one stint, like back to back to back. Forgive Me the Real was like, that was actually my favorite out of the 3, like that batch of 3. So it's funny that you chose that one because that's actually one of my favorites too. I had just gotten the beat like maybe a day or 2 before, so I didn't even write the song yet. Like I didn't even have a song written. It was just like, I have an idea. I want it to be like kind of like a love song, like definitely like a R&B like love song, but like I didn't really have a full direction. So I went to the studio and I was telling Styles P like, hey, this is kind of the direction. But I didn't have anything to give him. There was no vocal cut, nothing. I'm literally just giving him this instrumental, you know, and I'm like, yo, I'm meeting Styles P right now. Like, I get high, you know. And yeah, he just like went in this room and like the lights were off and he was just like sitting like laying on the couch, like in the dark on his phone, and was like typing out these lyrics. And I'm just looking at him in this element. Like I'm looking at like, you know, Jadakiss and all them, like, how do you guys write? Like, what does this look like? But yeah, he literally was just like laying in this little room, like on the couch in the dark, like this, like on his
Did
back.
he request the lights off or were they just happen to be off?
It was just off. Like he just went in the room and just never turned the light on. So it's just like, it was like a really small room. Like not even, I don't even think it was a full size room. It was like, cause it was a recording studio. But it was like, so when we went to New York, we noticed that a lot of people's recording studios, there was a few like real ones, but I guess New York has really strict regulations or something on it. So a lot of people were recording in like warehouses or like storage units, or like, it would be like these one-off spots. So like when we pulled up, we were in Yonkers, first of all. And so when we pulled up, I was like, is this even like, are we okay? Like, this was like a rough looking spot. It was like a warehouse. It looked abandoned. I was like, what are we walking into?
The trap house?
I know. I was like, are we finna get robbed? Like, what? And then we open, we get there and knock on the door, and it's like this big old like vault looking, I don't know. Anyway, he opens it and like Styles P is standing there. So I was like, oh, you know, it's like, it's real. And then inside, then they had like little booths and stuff. But yeah, so the room was, it was like a small room. Like I don't even think it was like a room. It just was like almost like a closet or something. But it was like, it had a couch, and he just like went in the room, didn't cut the light on. He just laid there and this was writing. And then I was really impressed because again, I didn't have a song recorded. Like I had nothing to show him. I was just like, this is a vague idea of what I want. Can you write something? And then he came out and just dropped this fire verse. And I was like, okay. And then I kind of wrote my song off of, I knew I wanted it to be a love song, but like I wrote my song off of his feature, which is funny because usually you have the whole song and you're like, hey, I have this song, can you feature on it? And then you give that. Whereas it was the opposite. It was like, I have a feature and no songs. I'm writing my song around your feature, you know?
That's pretty cool. I don't think most people can do that.
It was a very interesting experience.
Usually it's the other way around, right?
Yeah, usually it's the other way around. So it was very backwards, like, you know. And then yeah, so basically when we came back to LA, then I was like, okay, I got this feature, and I was playing it on repeat. And then I just kind of like busted it out. Again, at that time, I wasn't working with anybody lyric wise. So I was just like crunch in my head, like, how do I get these lyrics out? You know, how do I get these lyrics out? Yeah, it just kind of dropped on me. It just kind of like the lyrics just kind of flowed out. The only thing that was different though, actually there was a part that I worked with another person, Clay Dub, who helped me on the hook, because technically I had the whole song written except for the part that repeats the "give me that real, real, I need that real, real, give me that." Yeah, that section I didn't have. I just had the, yeah. I was just singing the song, and I did say "give me the real," and then it went into the next verse. But like the producer was like, "It sounds good, but like it's missing something. Like it just needs like a little bit of extra couple bars of something." And I was like, okay. And then like this other guy happened to be in the room when we were doing that, and he was like, "How about you just like say it like this and just repeat it?" And I was like, okay. So then we added that chunk of the "give me that real, real, I need that real," you know, I need that section. So I was like, oh, okay, cool, it worked out. But yeah, that was a definitely interesting writing process because it was backwards.
So I like how singers could just seamlessly start singing mid
Oh,
conversation.
thank you. Yeah.
And that's dope. But
That's not a
yeah,
whole. No, just kidding.
that's definitely one of my favorites. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. And I know we got to get up out of here. This will be the last question. Name an artist that you feel is underrated that deserves more recognition.
You know, it's funny because like the answer I'm gonna give is kind of like hypocritical. Maybe Tinashe, just because I remember seeing a video. I think it was like a documentary that she did, and she actually does a lot. I think she was like producing the beat. She was doing like all of the production. Like she's very hands on of a lot of her craft, which I think is something that's very impressive also. And especially like once you get to that level, like a lot of times you have other people do stuff for you. So the fact that she is still very hands-on, I just feel like she deserves to be bigger. And I'm kind of surprised that she's not. It seems like the fans that she does have are like pretty diehard, but I'm just surprised that like it hasn't grown past where she is right now. Cause I'm like, she's really talented. Like she does a lot, you know? And I'm just like looking around like nobody's seeing that. Just okay.
Yeah. It's crazy you said that because I used to be a very big Tinashe fan.
Yeah.
And I would always say, like, man, I wish she would get the credit that she deserves because her debut album, even like her mixtapes, were really good. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a big Tinashe fan now. Like, her last album, I wasn't really a fan of, but
Mhm.
prior to that, I thought she had some really great albums. And I don't know, she signed to Rock Nation at one point, and no disrespect to Rock Nation,
Yeah.
but like, if you're not a big artist, I don't think you should really be signing there because they had Doja Cat at one point. Didn't really do anything with her. She left Rock
Right.
Nation, blew up. So they be having a lot of artists that just for some reason.
Fall under the radar. Yeah.
Yeah. So when she signed there, I was like, but anywho, yeah, she definitely deserves
Noted. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But you know, Rihanna's doing well, and
oh well, yeah. I mean, but she's gonna do well regardless. I mean, she's
yeah,
huge. She's legendary at this point.
Oh, I want to play a game before we go.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down.
I will give you two options, and you just tell me
Okay.
which one you like better: Boyz II Men or Drew Hill.
I'm gonna say Boyz II Men.
Boyz II Men. Okay.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston.
Ooh, Whitney. I'm sorry, Mariah, but like it's Whitney. Like,
Okay.
come on.
Usher or Chris Brown.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, why?
Usher is very talented. Don't get me wrong. Like Usher, he deserves what he has. I just feel that Chris Brown, for one, so crazy. Like he just is like he's talented, but he's also just like a creative. Like, do you ever see like his graffiti art that he does? Like it's just insane. Like he just is a creative individual, and also like his track record, his consistency, his longevity. Like he has a whole catalog, like a catalog. Man's be dropping like 30 song albums, like bruh.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just put so much. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, like Usher has put a lot. I'm not saying he hasn't. Like I'm not taking it from him, but I just feel like Chris Brown has given so much that it's like, oh, Chris Brown all day. And plus I grew up with Chris Brown more. Like that's more my, time. And also like just how he thinks outside the box. Like Mance is doing backflips on stage. Like, and then I saw a video on TikTok. It was like his live show. And something that I thought was really creative and fun was like he was letting his audience dictate the show. So he would put up like I think it was like 3 or 4 songs. It might have been 3, but he would put like on the screen, like it was like 3 options, like 3 different songs. He's like, which one y'all pick? And he does like a scream test, you know, and like whichever song gets a lot of screams, he's like, all right, that's the song I'll perform for you. I don't know. I just feel like all day I would choose Chris Brown.
Okay. So with that, let me ask you another question. Chris Brown popping or Chris Brown take you down?
Ooh,
Which one you playing first?
I'm gonna go popping.
Popping.
Although hold on, Take You Down was a whole era. Take You Down was. I'm gonna go popping though, just because. I'm a sucker for some bass. So
yeah, that's the end of our questions. So now, before we leave, I want to give you the floor to promote anything you want to promote. But before I get into that, I just want to say, if you haven't listened to her music before, she does all kind of different genres of music. I would say it's just R&B. And I get this all the time on my page, like, oh, they all sound the same. Well, if you listen to her music, all her songs does not sound the same.
Thank you. Yeah.
If you want a variety, definitely check her out. The floor is yours if you want to say anything.
Yes. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for having me on your platform. You know, I appreciate you. It's always been good vibes since we met. So I'm glad we got to reconnect again. So thank you so much for having me. As far as anybody who's watching, first and foremost, thank you again for that plug of my diverse music. I'm glad you enjoy it. Again, I just shot the music video to Tidal Wave. So hopefully around the time this video comes out, it will be available or should be about to be available. So we'll see. But go ahead and follow me on all socials. It's at Saika_Delic. So it's SAIKA_DELIC. That's on TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff, so that you can see that video drop and any other songs that come out.
For sure. Yeah. And like I said, thank you again for doing this. It's definitely a treat for me to have you on because, like I said, just how we met, but also like I just like tapping into people who's into R&B, and I just like to support people who are just doing it on their own, pretty much. Help. So we all got to support each other. So
pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate thank you. So like I like to sign off this show. So the first episode I did this randomly, and now this is like my way of signing off. So when I sign off, I have this thing on the page where I say "Wizzy Wow." I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's an inside joke that I have on the page, right? And I'll explain it later on in the future for those who aren't familiar. But basically, I'll be in the comments, or I'll just say like "Wizzy Wow" or "Wizzy Wow behavior." So that's kind of like my catchphrase.
I love that.
Now. Yeah, so like I'll just end it, and I'll just be like, "All right, this is Love and R&B, Wizzy Wow." So
Wizzy Wow.
Yeah, so you got it. I didn't even have to ask you. Yeah,
we gonna do it.
Yeah,
we
so
gonna do it at the same time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it again, and then you say however you want to say. Like some people do the little dramatic effect, but it's actually a song called "Wizzy Wow."
Okay.
But you can Google it on your own. But so that's the end of the show. Love and R&B. This is Slowjams4life here with Saika, Wizzy Wow.
Wow, Wizzy Wow. Let's go.